Let me give you a spin. Okay. Well, there we go. I noticed you. I saw you walking
Oh,
by.
I saw you
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yes.
You got the whole vibe going on, the Mexican vibe. Yeah.
What's the vibe?
Hair, your eyes, and tu muy bikini. You're very small.
I am. Are you gonna add yourself
Yeah.
like you are doing right now?
This is my business. I just take
Yes, I was like,
little
oh my
Mexican girls'
god.
phones. Yeah. I have like
He's
1,000
gonna
in my
spill.
backpack.
You got the vibe. You're so
Yes.
bad.
Yeah. All right, guys. So you're out there, you're cold approaching, you're starting to go up, you're starting to meet women, and you just find you're getting the same thing every time. Boring, dry, uninterested conversations. And you're starting to lose a little faith. You're like, hey, I'm actually putting in the work, I'm trying to do this, but I'm getting no results. Maybe I get a number here or there, but it's kind of like a pity number. There's a period of calibration where you learn, hey, this is how I actually need to talk to a woman to actually create a spark, create a vibe, create a meaningful connection to where the conversation ends. She thinks about you all day, she texts you, and she wants to go on the date, which is ideally why we're doing this, guys. So you might know this guy, or you might be this guy, the guy who never has a second opinion, the guy who always seems to believe what everybody says. And this guy in the world of dating is typically called the nice guy. One of the things that I see when I coach guys, especially when they're starting out, is when they're talking to the girl, there's no dynamic, no suspense. You know when you're watching a good movie and you feel like you're on the edge of your seat, you don't know what's going to happen next, you're engaged, you're captivated. There's an element of danger, right? You can feel that through the screen. This is what the vibe we want to be creating when we're talking to a woman in the street. We want to be giving her that experience that spikes her emotions. Women are emotional creatures. We are more logical as men, which can be great for creating businesses, for connecting with other guys. But when it comes to women, this can be the Achilles heel for a lot of men. Trying to talk to a woman like you would talk to your boss at the tech company, right? It's not going to go the same way. What we really want to be doing here, guys, is we want to be making sure we're creating those emotional ups and downs. And how we can do that, one of the simplest ways to do that is not being so agreeable, right? No, wrong. You should disagree with me there. No, I'm just kidding. But in this context, with women, what I see time and time again is guys go into a situation and everything she says, they just go, yeah, nice, cool. Oh, great, I agree. You watch how quickly she goes from, who is this guy that came up to me randomly in the street, to, I'm bored as piss, let me get out of here, right? You might have even experienced yourself and you're like, what did I do? You know, I was nice, I was polite, I didn't cause any drama. Well, this is the thing, guys. We want to be causing a little bit of drama. We want to be causing a little bit of tension in the conversation. And so one of the simplest ways to do that, again, is to disagree. Here, one of the things I really like to do is I like to be like, no. And I like to throw that in very suddenly. This is the key here, guys. Like, you can obviously overdo this where you can be too disagreeable and then you just come off like a dick. But you want to be calibrated this. You want to build some comfort and some rapport so then when you throw the no in or the disagreement, she's a little thrown off guard. She's like, wait, what? Like, we were just vibing, we were just connecting, you know, the chemistry was good. And all of a sudden he doesn't agree with me anymore. Like, what's going on here, right? Maybe this guy isn't just some nice guy. Maybe he actually has an opinion. Maybe he is going to challenge me, let's say, you know, because her mind's going to be going like, okay, well, wow, wait, maybe what if we dated? Like, you know, maybe not consciously, but like in her subconscious. And if she's like, oh, this is a guy that is just going to bend over and do whatever I want, which is not the vibe we want to be having, guys. Okay, maybe this guy's actually going to stand up to me a little bit. Maybe he's going to push back. So that's another way you can look at it too, pushing back. So a little exercise you can start doing is next time you're doing an approach, I want you to consciously disagree with a woman, even if you do agree with her. Any way you can, just say like, oh no, that's crazy. I don't agree. Right? You want to do it in a fun way. You don't want to be like too serious about it where you're just like, no, right? Don't be a weirdo. Be cool with it, be calibrated. And watch how she'll engage with you. Like, oh, why? Like, why don't you agree? Because she's used to most guys just agreeing with everything she says. And if you guys are really ready to stop having these boring conversations and dial in what I'm going to be teaching you in this video today, then I've developed a very simple plug and play system that you can start implementing into your cold approach. I'm going to teach you all kinds of things from flirting to building tension, to going for the close, how to do a proper approach. All these things I cover and more that are going to get you finally to having successful approaches with women, to where you actually are getting the majority of numbers, the majority of yeses, and then being able to go on dates and have this amazing experience where you both know that you guys met in a very confident, cool, organic way. That's what I want for you guys, and I've helped dozens of guys achieve this. So you can fill out an application to work directly with me one-on-one below, and we'll be in touch. And also, if you're tired of not getting quality matches, or maybe any matches at all, Jared, my business partner here at MaxPat Dating, is going to help you dial in your online dating profile, and as well as your Instagram, so you can have proper photos, you can be texting properly, proper scripts, proper profiles, so that girls actually want to swipe on your profile. So once again, guys, fill out that application down below, and let's get back to the video. Teasing too, guys. This is a big one. This is what a lot of guys fear doing this. They fear offending her, making her feel uncomfortable. Like maybe in the past we were mean when we were younger, so we don't want to be the mean guy, right? And of course, media and movies are like, don't be a dick, don't be an asshole, all that stuff, right? You can be a bit of an asshole sometimes. You got to do it in that fun, playful way. You got to have that smirk on your face. You got to be smiling about it. Push, pull, right? Agreeing, being kind, and then pulling back a little bit, being a little maybe like rude, quote unquote. And I'll make a video on this separately, how to properly push pull, how to properly tease, because this is something a lot of guys struggle with. They're like too rude to where it's like insulting. Like, oh, that's an ugly shirt. What? It's like, oh, thanks. Like that was weird. Or again, they're just too nice and they're too, oh my God, you look so beautiful. Wow, you're my Juliet. They're just, cringy stuff like that. So we don't want to be doing that either. But it's okay to push a little bit. It's okay to make fun. If you have guys, if you're in a fraternity or anything like that, or you have a group of boys you hang out with, you guys give each other shit, but it's all in good fun, right? So we want to learn to adopt that mentality and that attitude and that behavior to when we're actually talking with a girl in person.
The boat is like bigger, maybe.
Mm-hmm. No, you're very small. You're very tiny. Yeah. I like if you have a little sister, you know how you give her some shit, or like maybe a little cousin or something, or even an older sister, right? You can have that same energy with a random girl you're approaching, but sparingly, right? You don't want to overdo it. Just enough to where she sees like, okay, this guy isn't going to be a pushover, and we're going to have a good time. So you're in the curl approach, you're getting a little better at teasing, you're getting a little better at disagreeing, but that's kind of it. It doesn't seem like there's any more substance to the conversation. And this is something that I was stuck on for a long time, guys. Like I could flirt a little bit, I could tease and make her laugh. But something I was really struggling with, and it was my own self-confidence, was I wasn't able to really take her on a journey. And let me tell you what I mean by that. This is something a lot of guys struggle with because they're so logical and because you just want to get to the point. But women really live their life like a movie, like a storybook, right? They want to go on this adventure from the day they're born to the day they die. And they want it to be this beautiful book that they can open up and, they have all these photos, memories, experiences, right? So you want to be somebody that can give that to them within conversation, right? Women are not logical conversationalists. Sometimes they can be. And, when that happens, great. But most of the time, they respond through, again, emotion, through visuals, through images. And you can paint those pictures with your voice. So something that I've adopted into my cold approach recently, this has been a big game changer, is learning how to storytell, learning how to paint a picture with my voice and take her on a journey so she feels like she's part of the experience, right? This is something that I interject once in a while within a conversation. I don't want to do it too much because then it just becomes me talking the whole time. And ideally, we want to be doing the majority of listening and less of talking. If you guys are in sales, you know what I'm talking about. If you're in high ticket closing, you understand this. You want to be doing about 28% of the talking, 80% of the listening. And that is a good framework to bring into cold approach as well. You want her to be talking. You want her to be opening up to you. But when you do talk, there is a time where you can interject a story, just like this.
What's up to your arm?
Oh, shit. So there was a car crossing the street, and there's a bunch of kids in the street. And I ran out to save them. I grabbed them, and then right as I was running away, yeah, you don't believe me. I'm very.
You are joking.
It's very traumatic, but the kids were safe. So and what this really does, guys, is a couple things. One, It's a way to demonstrate that you have a life, that you do things, you have experiences. When you're telling stories, talk about your friends, talk about family, talk about people that were with you in this adventure, right? She's going to see that, hey, you're not just a guy that sits at home and plays video games all day and that can only talk to girls at the mall. You're a guy that actually has substance. And if she dates you, she's going to get brought into that world. That's going to be very attractive and captivating for a woman. It's also going to show that you have social skills. You know how to bring people together. You know how to captivate and hold a moment. This is going to be very important because if she's out and introducing you to her friends, to her family, she wants to know that you're not just going to be the weird guy, like, and then everyone's going to judge her and be like, why the hell did you bring this guy? Like, he's freaking weird. So you want to demonstrate that, hey, I'm a complete stranger, obviously, because we're doing cold approach. This is a huge advantage, is that she's going to see that, you're very confident, you're very bold. And then here I'm going to show you how she was complimenting me on how brave I was and how bold I was. And it was really cool. Handsome.
Atrevido.
Atrevido, okay.
Atrevido. Also you're handsome.
Thank you.
But I think you're more like atrevido.
Atrevido, okay.
Atrevido.
Daring. Oh, okay. Thank you. Nice. So let me grab your Instagram.
Okay.
And,
Deny.
okay, I'll add.
Or you can add yourself,
Yeah.
like you are doing right now.
I'm going to show that, hey, if I bring this guy out to my friends, he's going to be able to hold a conversation. He's not going to just need to hang on my shoulder the whole time or be needy. And in fact, he might be able to add a level of energy that's really going to increase the vibe and, in a way, boost her status a little bit too. Now, some tips for storytelling, guys, because you can tell a boring ass story, trust me. You want to be expressive. You want to show emotion. You want to be using your hands. You want to be, you don't want to be like just looking at her and telling the story. You want to add some animation to it, right? This is going to make a big difference in how interested and how engaged she is in your story. And as well, making sure you're in a good state and your energy is good is going to really add to the storytelling process. I'm sure there's tons of videos on YouTube that you can watch on how to tell a good story. So if that is something you struggle with, I definitely recommend checking that out. Now, this leads into the next point here. This is one that, I'm not going to knock you if you're struggling with this, because cold approach is not easy, at least when you're starting off, right? So it's simple, but not easy. This is a phrase I really like. When you're starting out, the nerves might be there. You might be a little jittery, a little anxious, right? And it can take a while to get over that. And again, that's what I'm here for, to help hold you accountable, to give you tips to ease that anxiety and get you better results quicker so that you can feel more confident and you don't have to spend 700 approaches trying to figure out how to relax. This is something that as soon as we see guys make this shift, that they have a huge difference in their connection with the woman. And this is as simple as being calm, not being anxious. Easier said than done, I know, guys. So, it's like when someone's anxious, the worst thing you can tell them is not to be anxious. So I get that. We really want to be working on being calm, though. There's ways to do this. Breathing. Make sure you're breathing through your nose, not your mouth. Same with like exercise, right? You don't, when you freaking are breathing like that, it's very hard to stay grounded. But when you can do deep breathing through your nose, fill up your belly, let it out. Try this next time when you're talking to a girl. You might think she'll notice and be like, why are you breathing so slow? And maybe she'll pick up that you're trying to stay calm, but I've never been commented oh my God, why are you breathing so loud? No. I really make it a conscious effort to when I'm talking to her, really relax my energy, guys. And this is gonna really help you create that strong vibe. And let's be real, when you start talking again, your words are going to be much more impactful. And I know this firsthand because I am naturally wired a bit anxious. And so something that I'm always working on is catching myself when I get a little anxious, a little flighty, my energy gets a little high. I want to bring that down. Now, in the same breath, there are guys that are not very anxious by nature, right? So their problem is they come off a little too boring, come off a little too dry. They're just not excited to be there. And that's going to hurt your cold approach as well. So we want to make sure we're balancing that energy with some emotion, with some excitement. Smile, guys. This is a huge one. Make sure that you're actually enjoying the conversation. When I start filming guys that we work with go out and start doing their cold approaches, one thing I see when they're starting off is the whole time their face is like this. And it's because they haven't learned how to tap into their excitement and natural energy. But it's funny. It does crack me up because they look like a serial killer. So of course she's not going to be interested. And when they don't get the number, I'm usually not surprised. So we want to be making sure we're smiling. We want to make sure we're giving good eye contact. We have a good energy, a good vibe. Sometimes, guys, you're not going to have a good vibe. Even if you've done 1,000 cold approaches, sometimes it's just not going to be your day. And I've had that too, right? Sometimes within us going out and doing an approach set, you could say, where you're going out for an hour in the park or the mall or wherever you like to go. Sometimes some of your approaches will be really good and high energy and some won't, right? So don't beat yourself up if every approach isn't really high and strong and you're at your peak performance level. Go for the wins. Go for the wins. Go for the times that are going to be well. Focus on the wins. Focus on the times you do have really good energy and you are in a good headspace. You are smiling. You are vibing, right? And because she's going to pick up on that energy. Again, women are emotional creatures. They can sense emotions and read emotions far better than men can. As guys, we can get good at it too, and eventually sometimes get better than some women. But as a baseline, women are naturally better feelers of emotion, and especially in other people. So she's going to feel your energy. And when your energy is good, when you're smiling and you're having a great time, she's going to be able to pick up on that too. And then again, don't beat yourself up if you have one where you're not at peak performance. I talked earlier about sales, and you can think about that too. Not the best closers don't have 100% close rate. They don't go out to every single prospect and have them sign up for their program. Some do really well, but a good closer maybe will do 70%, right? So think about that in cold approach, right? Like you're essentially going up for a sales pitch with this woman. That's essentially what cold approach is. If you're closing 50, 60, 70%, that's very good. Even 30, 40% is good sometimes. So start to look at that in your performance in terms of statistics and in terms of like the grand scheme of thing, not so much an individual approach itself. This will help you guys a lot not get discouraged. Okay, and the last one here, the reason why your conversations are boring. It's a big one, guys. This is a big one. And we are, as men, out for a mission. We want to find that girl that we can connect with. We want to go on dates. We want to be connected with women. Right? That's our mission. We're mission-oriented people. That's the way our species is, and especially as men, that's how we're wired. We have missions. We want to accomplish things. We want to get stuff done, and that's a great attribute. When it comes to cold approach, sometimes it can come to our detriment, though, and let me explain. If you're starting off and you're really craving some dates, you're really wanting to get this skill down, you're really wanting to maybe start getting some sexual experiences under your belt, maybe you've been in a dry spell for a few years since your last girlfriend, whatever the situation might be, sometimes there can be an energy of desperation, an energy of trying to get, a bit of neediness, right? And it might not be like super overt where you're like, baby, please, like you're getting on your knees, like begging for her to date you. But it might be subtle and it might come out in little ways. So this is a big way that can hinder your performance. When I've helped guys in the past that have kind of struggled with their cold approach for a while, it's because they're so hungry for that number. And in turn, they are not in the present moment. They have their mind fixated on one thing, getting that number, especially if they're nervous, getting that number and getting the hell out of there. So because of that, kind of going back to point 3, they're extra anxious, they're extra nervous, they're extra kind of flighty. And so what we really help guys learn, and what I think is important for every guy to learn, is how to be grounded, how to be in the moment and enjoying the experience with the woman. When you put all the things that I talk about before this point together, especially in some of our other videos, that's what I teach, is really how to have strong cold approaches. When you're having a good conversation, you're flowing, you're laughing, it is easier to stay in the moment. So we want to get good at those skills so that you're not in the moment like this. You're in the moment, but it freaking sucks. You're in the moment and you're having a good time. When you're in the moment, she's going to feel connected with you. If you've ever done sports, you know what the flow state is like, where the world disappears. It's just you. It's just the activity. Maybe if you play music, maybe if you even in your work, like maybe you do software coding or you're in sales. And when you're on that sales call, you're just so present with the person. Nothing else matters. That's what we want to aim to get into when we're talking with women. We want that flow state where it's just you, the girl. You can be in a packed mall with hundreds of people and you don't even notice any of them because it's just you and her. And this is a beautiful spot to be in. It's one of my favorite parts about cold approach, is being in that flow state with a girl. And it's probably why I've done so many and stuck with it, because it's almost like I get to have like a little date on the spot. And especially when I started to put what I'm teaching you guys into action, because I had to learn all this stuff as well, then I really started to enjoy it. So remember that, hey, whether you get her number or not, it's not important. It's not the key of why you're doing this. You're doing this to have a connection, to build this skill set. If you do get a number and you do go on a date and maybe she becomes your girlfriend, hey, absolutely cherry on top. But until that moment comes, focus on how you can create a connection with her in the moment. Be still, be one with her. Like I talked about before, breathing, that's going to help you stay grounded. So start implementing these things, guys. And again, if you do need some support on this, we are here to help you start to build that dream dating life through cold approach, through online dating, and really start helping you figure some of this stuff out so you can be present with a girl in a cold approach, so you can have interesting, engaging conversations. You can tell captivating stories. You can be flirty, you can tease, you can push back a little bit. I made the mistakes over and over and over again, and so did Jaren, so you don't have to. And we are here to help you streamline this very quickly, very efficiently, so you can get back to your busy life, get back to crushing in business, whatever avenue you're doing, but then also get to add this element of having a great dating life as well.